Okay guys, it's Paige with AskPaigeSchulte.com. Here to pop in and tell you a little bit about the top of the news for real estate agents and real estate in general. It hit the Wall Street Journal today, New York Post, New York Times, all the things. National Association of Realtors settled their commission lawsuits. And the good news is for Washington State, we are not an MLS coupled with the National Association of Realtors. So we were not part of any of those lawsuits. So there's that piece of it. We also have always been on the forefront of managing the transparency in the real estate industry for our buyers and our sellers. So what changes? First of all, that lawsuit still needs to be finalized in the courts as far as the settlement is concerned. So nothing has officially changed. But what I do think that will happen is that right now the buyer's commission is published on websites, which is actually relatively new. And I do think that that will change, and there will be nothing out there publicly saying that a seller is paying any of the commission for a buyer's agent, even if they are offering a commission. So what does that mean? If you are a buyer, so let's roll that back a little bit. If you're a seller, the commission in Washington State has always been broken out into two categories. The listing agent, which is the person that is listing your house on the market, getting it staged, ready to sell, all of that. And then the buyer's agent, so it's uncoupled. So for example, if you were paying a listing agent 6%, 3% of it would go to the listing agent or whatever amount that you guys decide on. But for example, if we use 6%, 3 over here and 3 to the buyer's agent. It is separate. You can choose a different amount for the buyer's agent than you do the listing agent. You can do 3.5 and 2.5. You can do 3% and 1%. That has always been something you're able to do. That conversation is very transparent. And it also goes deeper in the weeds on what if one agent represents both people? How much do you pay then? How much do you pay for a buyer who's unrepresented? Do you pay your agent a little bit more money for handling the extra paperwork and making sure that both sides are doing what they need to do? That all of that is very transparent. So that is the new listing agreement that is being used effective January 1st, but it has always in Washington State been separated. So that is that piece of it. Now, if you were to say, I am a seller and I'm offering 1% to the buyer's agent, then the buyer's agent, so now the buyers, as of January of 2024, they are required to have a buyer's agency agreement with their agent. So in order to show houses, to talk real estate, any of that, we should have a signed buyer's agency agreement with our client. I love it. It makes it transparent. It makes it very professional. It, puts a ring on the relationship, and it says, I am working my bleep off for you to find you a house, especially in a market with low inventory. So we're going to go on the hunt and be very proactive for our buyers. And our buyers have said, I am willing to pay you this amount for your work. And the buyers can set that price. So if they say, I'm going to pay you 2.5% for the work that you're doing, but we're going to see what the seller is going to offer. Because right now, VA buyers and FHA buyers cannot pay their agent. So if the seller is not offering any compensation to the buyer's agent, that will take some buyers out of the game for having the widest amount of buyers to buy their house. If you don't care and you only want conventional or cash buyers, then that's fine. You can offer 1% or 0 or whatever. The biggest piece here is that sellers know that they don't have to pay a buyer's agent, and that the buyers understand that they are paying their agent. Whether it's wrapped up in the cost of the house or in the loan or whatever. And the buyers have an agreement with their agent for a certain amount, and if the seller offers 1% and their agreement is for 2.5%, then you have a 1.5% difference, and who's going to make up that difference? The other piece in that agreement is that you can check a box that says, don't show me anything that's under the amount that I agree to pay you, because I don't want to come up with the extra money. So a lot of different moving parts, a lot of transparency related here. And it also includes a spot that says, hey, the seller's offering 3%. You and I have an agreement for 2.5%. That extra 0.5% goes where? Does it go to the brokerage's firm, or does it go back to the seller, or does it go back to the buyer? And that is something that is also lined out very clearly in the new forms. So I personally love it. I think that Washington State has done a very good job of staying ahead of this and making this conversation very transparent, and doing it before we were told by the courts to do it, which is fantastic. So, excuse me. Lots of other states and lots of other agents are behind in some of these transparent conversations, as if this never would happen. So here we are. I'm proud of our state for getting ahead of this. I'm excited for the professionalism that this serves to our community of agents, and for our clients and our customers. I think that it's going to give you a chance to be more specific about who you choose to hire, because you are essentially paying them a decent amount of money to help you acquire an asset, protect you during that sale, and make sure that all of the important aspects of buying a house are handled during that due diligence period and that contract. So my hope is that buyers are looking at their agents a little bit with a little bit more critique to say, is this the right person that I want to hire? And a little bit more scrutiny to say, is this local person an area expert that can actually help me negotiate the best possible terms? And then also following the money and seeing where it goes. If you think this person isn't the best qualified and you want to offer them less money because their knowledge isn't as valuable, then you can do that too. Like, those are all options. And commission negotiation has always been on the table. This is now a very open conversation about how and why, and what your options are. So I think it's amazing. I think that some of the headlines are terribly misleading, but that's national news for you. Click away, everyone. But I'm here to give it to you straight. So if you have questions, feel free to hit me up, and watch the next video right here for your Gig Harbor market update.